Hello again. Most people today have never even heard about the Balkan Wars, which preceded the First World War. In 1912 and 1913, there were two wars involving countries like Bulgaria and Serbia, but we in this country hardly took any notice of them. And it was only the following year, 1914, when the First World War began, that we realised that events in the Balkans might actually affect us. Some viewers may be aware of the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in the Balkans that year. The Balkans were a long way away though, and those foreigners were always squabbling with each other. It was the same insular attitude which caused Neville Chamberlain to describe the Sudan crisis of 1938, which led to the Second World War really the following year, as a quarrel in a faraway country between people of whom we know nothing. We still have that awful point of view, of course, and so events in Africa or Russia don't really affect us and are just a footnote in our newspapers or some item on the evening news. We don't always spot the connection between the fact that since the 1990s, 6 million people have been killed in the fighting in the Congo, and the phenomenon of millions of Africans heading north into Europe. The civil war in Sudan gathers pace, and we try to ignore it and hope that it's just a problem for Africans. In the Far East, the civil war in Myanmar, formerly Burma, rumbles on, but that really is a faraway country about which we know nothing. Even when war broke out in Europe, we hoped that it would be restricted to the east and not have too much effect upon us. We took some refugees last year and sent arms, but secretly we were glad that it was all a long way away. It wouldn't be likely to make any difference to us. Now matters are moving rapidly in a new and unexpected direction, with a major Russian city in the hands of rebels and an armoured column moving on Moscow. Belarus is being drawn into the business, and in Estonia there is great unease. Estonia is, of course, where we have an armoured infantry battle group on the border. This is one of those times in the history of the world when nobody can say how matters will develop. It might all die down, or on the other hand, it might explode into a huge war, with Russia lashing out as it totters on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, the Chinese bide their time, waiting to launch their own bid for supremacy in the South China Sea, probably by seizing Taiwan to begin with. In the Middle East, Iran is swiftly reaching a point at which they will have nuclear weapons and means to deliver them, something that Israel will certainly go to war to prevent. All the pieces are in place for a reordering of the world. We're so used to seeing only gradual changes, little bits here and there since 1945, that we've forgotten that a world war is still a practical proposition, and if it happens, then we have not the faintest idea what the results will be. One thing is certain, though, if this blows up any more, then a few inflatable boats crossing the English Channel illegally are going to be the least of our worries.